Hi, what up? Are you having a good day? Being moral? Awesome. That's so awesome. I'm glad if you are. If not, I don't know, maybe we'll work on that. Question for the class. When's the last time you thought about Superman? If you're Warner Discovery, it's been a long ass time. The last time we got a Superman solo film was almost 10 years ago. Think about that, that's wild. His last canon appearance in the mainstream DCEU was Justice League last year. Since then, we might get a hard reset on the whole universe because apparently they have no faith in quite possibly the most iconic characters ever created. So I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring and explain my love for some of these characters. In particular, my main boy, not Batman, who people who know me would know I know the most about of all DC characters, and some might still think he's my favorite DC Comics character. In a way, he still kinda is, if only because he gets all the stories, like, all of them. No, I'm talking about the greatest superhero put to paper. Yeah, I'll die on this hill. The ever-charming, smiling Moses analogy, the last son of Krypton, the protector of Metropolis, the man of steel, the humble boy scout from Kansas, just trying his best to save the world. Superman. Look, I know you've seen a million video essays on Superman, on how he's still relevant, on how Amazon doesn't get why he's so awesome, about how Snyder missed the mark, so on and so forth. And honestly, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. I love Superman. I have a massive section on my comic shelf dedicated to his runs. I have action figures. I have a comic signed by the current writer of Son of Kal-El, Tom Taylor. I have the S shield tattooed on my freaking shoulder. It's not a stretch to say that I'm a big fan of Superman. I think he's still relevant. I think truth and justice are always going to be important. And I think it's awesome he represents a better American way. A man of tomorrow who shows us all it's... Well, maybe it's not always cool to care, but it's more important to give a shit than to seem cool. It's something I try to live my life by. Superman. The embodiment of cultural trauma brought to life by two Jewish men who wanted to take the ideals of the Ubermensch and turn it into the ultimate paragon of heroism, and the greatest defender of the innocent and downtrodden. You've all heard the analogy. If your Superman existed, he would fucking hate fascists. It's true though. I don't think I need to explain to you why that is. If you disagree, just go read a Superman comic and I think you'll come around to my side. Otherwise, it's just a fundamental misunderstanding of the character that I'm not going to get into right now. Anyway, Clark Kent has been a cultural staple since he was first introduced in April of 1938, along with Captain America. He was instrumental in the United States' involvement in the Second World War and therefore the defeat of the Third Reich, along with other political activists and fictional heroes, all who embodied then the ideals of just and fair future, and the privilege of defending the innocent. Yeah, he's pretty anti-fash in that regard. He was gifted with impossible abilities thanks to our yellow sun, laser vision, X-ray, infrared, ultraviolet vision, etc., super strength, super speed, a super brain capable of processing information faster and more efficiently than the average man, invulnerability, near mortality sometimes, basically super healing, immunity to most disease, and a whole plethora more, and of course, the most visually telling superpower of all, the one I think every kid has wished they had since the moment they thought of the possibility. Flight. The tagline of the first Superman movie was, after all, "You'll believe a man can fly." Of all his powers, it's the one I come back to. It's the one allowing him to put all his other powers to good use on a global scale. Superhearing is only so good if you can get to the person on the other side of the world calling for help, after all. He can see the world from a perspective only astronauts can dream of. Maybe pilots, I guess. And yet, given all of that, he's still so human. Superman is the most interesting when he embodies the indomitable human spirit. My favourite example is in the Justice League series by Scott Snyder. When trapped in a universe specifically designed to destroy Superman from all the wide universes, just go with it please, Superman is told time and time again there's no escape. Every yellow sun has been blotted out. The higher he jumps from the planet's surface, the faster he uses up his reserves of yellow sun radiation, the less distance he can get from the surface. Through sheer determination against hopeless odds, all to save his friends and loved ones, his son, and live on in the memory of his father, and to save his universe, he pushes through, escapes, and not only beats the villain who trapped him there, but inspires him with his sheer will and determination and embodiment of hope to come over to the Justice League's side, to show that even in the face of impossible odds, there's still hope. That's his true power, his real greatest asset, the embodiment of pure hope, inspiration, and the indomitable human spirit. Sadly enough, Superman can't do everything. In the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited animated series, It was his biggest personal hurdle, trusting his team and friends with helping him. Superman is anxious. He has the biggest responsibility of any superhero in the world, the most powerful man in the universe. Usually. It's hard for him to let go of his fears. When his father Jonathan Kent died, he learnt a hard lesson. You can't save everybody. In current continuity, John Kent is still alive, however this lesson is still one he lives by. He learned that even though this is true and unchangeable, you still have to try. Spider-Man might say it more often, but few other heroes, I think, embody with great power comes great responsibility more than Superman does. Superman is the first to lay himself on the line in trouble. He's the forefront of a legion of superheroes and an explosion of metahumans, the idol to whom every other person on the planet looks to inspire them, an honor now passed on to his son, John Kent Jr. He is inspired by his wife Lois Lane in that regard, a fearless reporter who defies the damsel role often associated with her, even actively telling her all-powerful husband and son to just leave her alone and let her do her job when she runs headfirst into danger. Stubborn? Maybe. But Superman is the kind of inspiring figure in her life that gives her the confidence to do the right thing no matter the cost, and in turn, she shows him that sometimes you don't need to be bulletproof to be a hero. He's not perfect though. For one thing, he's got plenty of weaknesses. Kryptonite in all its various colors, his inability to see through lead, his powerlessness in the face of a red sun, radiation of his native Krypton, pour one out for the homies. And he makes mistakes. You've seen the World of Cardboard scene. I'm sure you have. Old Man of Steel was partially responsible for the destruction of Metropolis. Yikes. I mean, look, being fair, he was new and he was doing his best. Still yikes. Oh, quick aside by the way, Zod in Man of Steel is the best DCEU villain, and he's weirdly very different from the comics, so all of you guys who say I hate comic inaccuracy in movies, no, I hate it when it sucks and it's bad. Change whatever you want from the source material, just please make it good, my gosh. I promise you, it's not that hard. Making Zod a hysterical fascist? Incredible, makes sense, beautiful for the story they were trying to tell. But making Batman a killer and having the goddamn Joker still be alive? That sucks. And I shouldn't have to explain why. Maybe I will in another video, but not here. Anyway, why did I make this video gushing over Superman? I don't really know, to be honest. Okay, that's not true. I do. And, trigger warning, I'm going to get a little bit sentimental. I'm going to talk about some mental illness issues and some suicide mentions. So please, I won't be mad if you decide to skip to the end for this one. Please take care of yourself before you watch this video. Final warning. Here we go. Okay, so, I think if you know me IRL, or if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I've been a little depressed. Things haven't been going super well personally. I've had a lot of loved ones pass away in a short amount of time. I've moved houses too many times, started and dropped out of university and dealt with multiple job changes and relationship breakdowns and financial stress. All with this unhealthy attitude that I didn't deserve to feel as crappy as I did, because there are people who have it worse, and because I have a responsibility to put on a brave face to my loved ones, and to some degree I think I still think that. I've dealt with sexual harassment and even assault in some instances, with depression, anxiety, even bipolar, and I've had to just deal with my autism my entire life as well, and especially last year I've had multiple suicide attempts, even a few this year, both passive and active roles and such. I have my friends and responsibilities and my healthcare professionals to thank for my still being here, and if I'm being honest, I just think I can't thank them enough for that. But medication and forcing yourself to be positive can only get you so far before you end up back on the ledge. And that's where Superman comes in. I've quoted a lot of Superman media in this video, and I stand by everything I've said so far because I think it's all relevant to what I wanted to say. But there's one page I haven't mentioned yet, and I think you might know the one. It's the reason I got the Superman tattoo, and it's what made me a proper Superman fan, and really, it's kind of what saved my life. In All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley, Superman essentially develops super cancer, we'll call it, after a sun dip to save some astronauts. All the while, he's still using his last months doing the whole Superman gig, saving lives, fixing buildings falling over, fighting bad guys, etc. And all the while, in one issue, as a therapist, he's stuck in traffic on the way to a session, packed on the phone. And later, we see a little girl on the edge of a building. She's about to jump. She just can't take it anymore. It looks like the greatest tragedy of the whole comic is about to build up. And then all of a sudden, Superman stops everything, and before she jumps, he grabs her shoulders, gently, and he tells her the truth. The therapist is on the way. He does care. He just got stuck in traffic. But most importantly, he hugs her and he tells her, "You're stronger than you know. Trust me. You can't save everyone, but you can always try." And those words stick with me. I look at my shoulder whenever things get really bad. When my pills don't work as well as I need them to. When I fight with my friends, when I feel so low I'm about to jump. And I realize Superman isn't going to magically grab me in real life. He doesn't need to, though. If he's on my shoulder, he's always with me. And in a sense, it's almost like a Jesus figure, I guess. And look, maybe it's silly, maybe it doesn't make sense to you, maybe it just doesn't make sense at all. But it works for me. I know that I'm stronger than I know. I know that I can get out of the hole. I know that everything is going to be okay as long as I keep my indomitable human spirit. And it took an alien growing up on a farm in Kansas created by 2 Jewish kids living through the worst period in modern history to teach me that. I know everything is not enough to break me. I hope for a better tomorrow, and I believe that a man can fly.